start, I'm going to start on again. I don't know, are you first? Amy's first. Okay.
As long as we're done, are we ready to start this? I know that my microphone turned on.
Huh? When will I do it?
Is there hearing? Is the game over yet? No, I wouldn't mention it. I wouldn't even mention it.
I'm not very much more. Jen, first start with the meditation, right? We don't read that out loud. Usually.
I start with a nigun.
La 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la.
Shana Tova.
Shana Tova.
It is so wonderful. Thank you, Shana Tova. It is so wonderful to be here with so many across the generations, all of the kids that are here, all of the members of our community. So I wish you, on behalf of all of us, Shana Tova. We're so glad that you're here with us. On page 1, we'll take an opportunity to read privately the meditation as we prepare for our evening Rosh Hashanah service.
My help will come from God, maker of heaven and earth. My help will come from God, maker of heaven and earth. Hey, Sinai, El Harim, Hey, Sinai, El Harim, Me'ayin Yavo, Yavo Hezri, Me'ayin Yavo, Yavo Hezri, Me'ayin Yavo, Yavo Hezri, Me'ayin Yavo, Yavo Hezri.
We are on page 1. Hayom Harat Olam. At this moment, the universe is conceived. At this moment, all things are possible, and all our dreams, all the best and strong and loving corners of ourselves shall prevail. My pleasure to invite Michelle Bisno and Rabbi Bisno and Adam and Michael to help us light our festival candles. Page 1.
atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu ad l'ner shel yom tov.
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the lights of Yom Tov.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu le'adlik ner sheyom tov. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehachianu v'kiyamanu v'hiyanu la'azman hazeh.
And we read together at the bottom of the page, "Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, for giving us life, sustaining us, and enabling us to reach this moment." As we turn to page 2, we find an insert in our booklet with the words of Hine Ma Tov. How wonderful it is to be here again, to have this opportunity each year to bring in the new year together.
הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, יאללה לי, לה 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 לי. הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב, יאללה לי, לה 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 לי. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. לה 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 לה, יאללה לה 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 לה, יאללה לה 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 לה, יאללה לה 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 לה. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.
On page 2, we find the Baruch Hu. If you are able, please rise.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamelech. Baruch Adonai Hamelech Le'olam ad.
Read together at the top of the page 3. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim v'chochma poteach sha'arim uvitvuna mishane itim umachalif et hazmanim umisader et hakochavim b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono borei yom v'layla golel or mipnei choshech v'choshech mipnei or uma'avir yom umevi layla umavdil bein yom uvein layla Adonai tzvaot shemo Elchai v'kayam tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed Baruch atah Adonai Ha'ariv.
Aravim.
And at the bottom of the page, together, as you talk our ancestors' Torah, teach us. May we listen to its words and lovingly follow its teachings. Let our eyes read with understanding, and let us feel in our hearts loyalty and love for you and your ways. Blessed are you, God, who loves your people, Israel.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malachoto Le'olam Avad.
May be seated. We continue chanting the Haftarah together.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אחי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים אלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
We read responsively. If we can hear the words from Sinai, then love will flow from us, and we shall serve all that is holy with all our intellect and all our passion and all our life.
If we can serve all that is holy, we shall be doing all that humans can to help the rains to flow, and the grasses to be green, the grains to be golden like the sun, and the rivers to be filled with life once more.
And the children of God shall eat, and there will be enough. But if we turn from Sinai's words and serve only what is common and profane, making gods of our own comfort or power, then the holiness of life will contract for us. Our world will grow inhospitable. Let us therefore lace these words into our passion and our intellect, and bind them as a sign upon our hands and eyes. Let us write them in mezuzot upon our doors, and teach them to our children. Let us honor the generations that came before us, keeping the promise for those yet to be. The Micha Mocha praises God for rescuing Israel from Egypt and for punishing Pharaoh's army. A midrash teaches that the destruction of the Egyptians hurt God. We are told that while Israel sang God's praises on earth, the angels sang along in heaven. But God said to them, "Stop singing. My children are drowning." From this we learn that while we rejoice in our own redemption, we must never rejoice at the pain or suffering of anyone else. Micha Mocha teaches that we will be truly free when all are free.
Micha Mocha va'elim Adonai, Micha Mocha nedar b'kodesh, Norat tehilot hasefer, Malchutecha היום לפני משה זה עליונו ויאמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר כי פצע אדוני את יעקב וגואלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
Page 6, we find our people's prayer in the evening, one of protection, one of a sukkah over each of us. We sing the first line as well as the concluding blessing together.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom Ve'hamideinu shomreinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom Ve'hamideinu shomreinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom Ve'hamideinu shomreinu lechaim.
God, help us to lie down in peace and let us rise up to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Enfold us in the wings of your protection. Defend us against enemies, war, famine, and sorrow. Distance us from wrongdoing. Guard our going and our coming to life and to peace, now and always. We pray for the peace of Jerusalem, that the peace which begins there may radiate forth and bless all of the earth's people. The peace of Jerusalem is the peace of every human heart.
Baruch atah Adonai haporei sukat shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo. Ve'al Yerushalayim shalom. Ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo. Ve'al Yerushalayim shalom. Baruch atah Adonai haporei sukat shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael.
Turn to page 7, and if you are able, please rise. Sound the shofar when the new moon appears, at the turning of the year, at the returning of our solemn celebration, for this is a statute binding on Israel an ordinance of the God of Jacob.
Tikkun v'chodesh shofar b'kesem yom chagenu ki Yisrael hu mishpat le'elahei Yaakov yitgadol v'yitkadosh shevei rabbo V'yalamad v'achirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayichol b'it Yisrael b'gala v'zman kariv Amen. Yehi Shemei Rabba Mevorach Le'olam Le'olam Yitvarach V'yishtabach V'yitpa'al V'yitramah V'yitnaseh V'yitanda V'yitala V'yitalavar Shemei Tikudasha Le'rechu Le'ela U'le'ela Min Kodechata V'shivata Tuz Lechata V'nechamata Dani
Continue now on page 8 with the tefillah. And we note that we have a special insert to the Avot Imahot. It's right there underneath the regular, or in the middle of the regular text, just in which we ask God to remember us for peace, or remember us in life in this new year.
Adonai Sifata Tiftachu V'yagi Tehilatecha Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avoteinu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanova, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, Lekonei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot B'imahot, U'mevi Gula Livnei V'nehem, L'ma'an Shemo V'yahava. Zochenu l'chaim, melech hafetz b'chaim, v'chutfenu l'sefer ha'chaim, l'ma'ancha Elohim chaim, melech ozer u'moshiach u'magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Yezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Olam Adonai, V'chayei hakol atah Rov v'Hoshia, V'chalkei chaim b'chesed, V'chayei hakol b'rachamim rabim, Somech nefesh יכולים ומתייסרים ומקיים אמונתו לשנה עפר מחמוך בעל גבורות ומדם מלך מלך מנית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה מי כמוך אב הרחמים זוכה יצורף וחיים ברחמים ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום הללוך הסלה.
The bottom of page 9. Together we read, You are holy, your name is holy, and those who strive to be holy declare your glory day by day. We praise you, Eternal One, the Holy God. Grant honor to your people and glory to all who have faith in you. Give hope to those who seek you, and confidence to those who trust in you. Grant joy to Israel and gladness to Jerusalem. Answer our prayers to bring a time when we all share our blessings with each other. Grant honor to your people, glory to those who revere you, hope to those who seek you, and courage to those who trust you. Bless your land with gladness and your city with joy, and cause the light of redemption to dawn for all who dwell on earth. Baruch atah Adonai, HaMelech HaKadosh. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy ruler. You may be seated. In love and favor, O God, you have called us to your service. You have given us mitzvot and chosen us to celebrate holy days. In your love, you have given us this day of remembrance, to hear the sound of the shofar, to unite in worship, and to recall the exodus from Egypt. Our God and God of all ages, be mindful of your people Israel on this day of remembrance, and renew in us love and compassion, goodness, life, and peace. Together, this day remember us for well-being. This day bless us with your nearness. This day help us to live.
בתורתך סבנו בטובך ושמחנו בישועתך ותהל ליבנו לעבדך 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 באמת ותהל ליבנו לעבדך 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 באמת ותהל ליבנו לעבדך 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 באמת ותהל ליבנו לעבדך 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 באמת כי אתה אלוהים אמת ודברך אמת וקיים לעד ברוך אתה אדוני מלך כל הארץ מקדש
Our God and God of our ancestors, make our lives holy through your mitzvot, and let your Torah guide us. Blessed are you, Adonai, ruler of the whole earth, who makes holy the Jewish people and the day of remembering.
Ritzei, Ritzei, Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu ve'amacha Yisrael u'tefilotam v'ahavat kabel u'tehi ratzon tamid u'tehi ratzon tamid avodat Yisrael amecha El karov v'chor korav El karov v'chor korav V'nei el havadecha v'chanenu Sheforu chaleinu V'techezena enenu V'shuvacha l'tzion v'rachamim Baruch atah Adonai Hamachzir shechinato L'tzion Hamachzir shechinato L'tzion
On the bottom of page 11, we express our gratitude. We read together, how grateful we are to you, God of our ancestors, the Eternal One. You are the source of our strength, just as you have been the protecting shield of each generation. We thank you for our lives, which are in your hand, and for our souls, which are in your care. We thank you for your miracles which surround us at all times, and the wondrous acts of your kindness that we experience each morning, noon, and night. You are the source of never-ending loving kindness. You are our hope forever. Blessed are you, Adonai. We give you thanks and praise.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam 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 Ki atahu melech adon Lechol hashalom Ki atahu melech adon Lechol hashalom Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam V'tov be'enecha levarech Et Amcha Yisrael V'chol et v'chasha B'shlomecha Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Le'olam Tasim Le'olam.
We continue now with our own silent prayer.
Rodef Shalom v'romav, Hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Rodef Shalom v'romav, Hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael.
We turn now to Misha Berach for healing. This is printed right underneath the Hine Matov with which we open the service. So it's on an extra sheet. It should be stuffed into the back of your booklet. As we sing together the Misha Berach, we think of those throughout the world, those we know as well as those we don't know, who are in need of healing of body, mind, and spirit. We also might, on the eve of this new year, take some of this blessing in for ourselves, healing perhaps some of our wounds, large and small, from last year, just to let those go maybe a little bit before we really get into 5773 full throttle. So Misha Berach for healing, we sing together.
Misha Berach Avoteinu, Avraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov. Misha Berach Imoteinu, Zara, Rivka, Leah, v'Rachel. May the one who blessed our mothers, may the one who blessed our fathers, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us as well. Bless us with the power of your healing. Bless us with the power of your hope. May our hearts be filled with understanding and strengthened by the power of your love. Bless us with the vision for tomorrow. Help us to reach out to those in pain. May the warmth of friendship ease our sorrow. Give us courage, give us faith, show us the way. Misha Berach Avoteinu, Avraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov. Misha Berach Imoteinu, Zara, Rivka, Leah, v'Rachel. May the one who blessed our mothers, may the one who blessed our fathers, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, hear our prayer, and bless us as well.
If you are able, please rise for Avinu Malkeinu, page 14. Avinu Malkeinu, Shema Kolenu.
Avinu Malkeinu, hear our voice.
Avinu Malkeinu, Chatanu Lefanecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, we have sinned before you.
Avinu Malkeinu, Chamol Aleinu Va'al Olalenu V'tapenu.
Avinu Malkeinu, show us mercy and loving kindness.
Avinu Malkeinu, Kalei Dever V'cherev V'ra'av Me'alenu.
Avinu Malkeinu, make an end to sickness and war and destruction.
Avinu Malkeinu, Kalei Kol Tsar Umastin Me'alenu.
Avinu Malkeinu, make an end to oppression.
Avinu Malkeinu, Katvenu B'Sefer Chaim Tovim.
Avinu Malkeinu, write us in the book of life for blessing.
Avinu Malkeinu, Chadesh Aleinu Shana Tova.
Avinu Malkeinu, let the new year be a good one for us.
Avinu Malkeinu, Harem Keren Yisrael Amecha.
Avinu Malkeinu, give strength to your people Israel.
Avinu Malkeinu, Chanenu Va'anenu Ki Ein Banu Ma'asim, Aseh Imanu Tzedakah V'Chesed V'Hoshienu.
Avinu Malkeinu, be gracious and answer us, for we have little merit. Treat us generously and with kindness, and be our help. Avinu Malkeinu, Chanenu Vanenu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chanenu Vanenu, Ki Ein Banu Masim. Aseh Imanu Tzedakah V'Chesed. Aseh Imanu Tzedakah V'Chesed V'Hoshienu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chanenu Vanenu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chanenu Vanenu, Ki Ein Banu Masim.
You may be seated.
Let me invite you to close your books for a moment, and let me just share how really special it is to look out and see all of you here. I was a bit worried this afternoon when I received a phone call from a congregant who shall go unnamed to inform me, as if I didn't know that there was a football game played this evening, and wondered what to do. There were services at 6, and there was a game that started just a little bit before, and I suggested that's exactly what VCRs were for, and she said, "Terrific, you can tape the service." I am glad that you all are here, and that there are those who may be at home watching the game, or perhaps down at Heinz Field, but are also watching it streaming live over the internet. We are gathered to celebrate Rosh Hashanah, which our tradition knows as the birthday of the world. It is the day on which we celebrate the world's creation. And who created the world, we might wonder? How did the world begin? The Torah portion we shall share tomorrow morning is quite clear. It says, Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now, those of you who have heard me preach before will understand that I very rarely speak of my own children in my sermons. And yet, this evening, I'll share the same message tomorrow morning. Today, I feel compelled to share a story because our younger son, Michael, not long ago, he, the one who was waving to all of you as the family came up to light candles, asked me, "Daddy, if God created the world, how did God create himself?" And so I began by telling him that he had asked a really insightful question that many very smart people had wondered the same thing over the centuries, had tried their hand at answering the question, and now I would give it my best attempt. And so I began by explaining that this is a complicated question, so he should be patient with me. It required a bit of patience because it's a complicated notion, and I was going to need to use or find a way to use simple words, and his young mind would need to allow those ideas to make their impress upon him. But we set about trying to answer his question. I began by suggesting that God had always been here. And he came back and said, "But, Daddy, how did God create himself?" So I tried another tact and suggested that God was not like a person or an object or a thing which has an immediate beginning, and that God was different in that respect. He said, "But, Daddy, how did God create himself?" So I tried again and suggested that God is within each one of us and that all of us have a part of God within us. And as I began to say the next sentence, he came back again insistent, "But, Daddy, how did God create himself?" And so I begged his indulgence and suggested that I might need a little bit more time to come up with an answer that would satisfy an impressionable 4-year-old. Would he allow me that time and perhaps permit me to answer by way of a sermon, maybe even on Rosh Hashanah? And Michael agreed, and so here we are. Now, it is natural for children to ask such questions about God. It's not unusual at all for children to ask about God's origins. After all, children instinctively understand that everything, seemingly, was created by someone and for some purpose. But how to begin to answer his insightful and important question, that itself is a question. I turned to, where many of you would, I turned to my iPhone and I asked Siri, "How did God create himself?" And Siri responded that she eschews, avoids theological discussions. So I turned to Google, and there are many answers that are provided there, but it became clear to me that not a one of them was going to be sufficient for a 4-year-old, and certainly wouldn't be the way in which I wanted to approach the question on Rosh Hashanah. Clearly, I was on my own. And so in good rabbinic tradition, aware of the dictate from Pirkei Avot, the ethical teachings of the sages that tell us, hafachba, dechulaba, turn it over and turn it over again because everything is contained therein. They were speaking of the Torah, but I came to understand or believe that the question itself might give rise to the answer. And so I turned that question again and again in my mind. How did God create, in Michael's words, himself? Or, as I came to prefer, and I invite you to appreciate, perhaps the question should not be, how did God come to be? What brought about God? How did God create himself? All of which ask the question as if it was a long ago event that happened once and for all time, completed and done. But rather, we might do well to ask instead, what brings about God? How is it that God comes to be? Asking the question in these ways moves us away from imagining God as being something that was fashioned once for all time and done, but rather allows us to imagine that God might just be something that can be created and renewed again and again and again. This is important, I came to understand, and I share with you, because if God has any quality worthy of the divine name, I want to submit to you that it is timelessness. God, after all, is beyond time. As we understand it, God is without beginning and without end. God is ultimate potential and cannot be limited to a single moment along the timeline. And therefore, God's entering the world cannot be fixed and defined once, and the end of the book is written then. Therefore, to begin to answer the question, how God created God, we must be willing to imagine that that act, that event, that occurrence happens again and again and again, is renewed time and time again. But how? In Michael's words, that's all very nice, but how did God create himself? How does God create himself? Do you remember the story about the primary grade student who comes home one day and asks the parents, "Where did I come from?" To which the child's parents, long anticipating that one day this question would be posed to them, sat their youngster down, pulls off the shelf an age-appropriate book, and begins to explain how it is when two persons who wish to become parents bring new life into the world. They're sure they're doing a good job, the child is listening with rapt attention, and when they finish their disquisition, they say, "And does that answer your question?" To which the child responds to the parents, "I suppose, but Billy's from Cleveland, and I want to know where I come from." Where then does God come from? How do we explain God's existence? And how do we make it so? Tomorrow morning, just a few verses after we read how God created the world, we come to read verses that describe how each and every one of us and every person who has ever lived was created B'Tselem Elohim, is created in the divine image. That is, within each of us there's a divine spark, a reflection of the Holy One, a part of God, if you will. What this means is that God can be discovered whenever we look around and look into the eyes of another person, whenever we come to understand the person in front of us possessing the same innate divine goodness as we understand resides within each one of us. When we are able to see that within us and between us all there is something special, something precious, something sacred, something holy, the image of God. Well then, once we recognize that we are each created B'Tselem Elohim, in the divine image, we come to recognize that there is a connection between all human beings such that we can care about one another. In a very real way, God is the part of each of us that inspires acts of compassion and acts of courage and empathy and the emotions that link us one to another. God is the part of us that allows us to see in one another that which is ultimately beyond definition. And in this way, the godlike parts of each one of us allow us to have feelings, emotions for one another, such that we experience connections with other people. And in this way, we can heal one another when we are hurt. We can offer understanding when we are feeling misunderstood or alone. And we are able to share and receive and create love. Before there was a world, I suggest to you, God wasn't anywhere because there was nowhere for God to be. And then once the world came to be and the world was populated with people created in the divine image, then God, as it were, came into the fullness of existence. Now some of you might ask then, does this mean that if there were no people, there would be no God either? And for this question, let me answer with another. This time the question is from Michael's older brother Adam, who asked just a few months ago whether God is in our hands when we hold hands with one another. Yes and no, I replied. We don't refer to hand-holding as God, and yet, if you hold someone's hand in order to keep them safe, if you hold someone's hand in order to reassure them, or to keep them warm, or to let them know that you care, then yes, I do believe that when we act compassionately, we can indeed say that God is right there in our hands. But by the same token, if we raise our hand to one another, or we clench our hands in fists in order to hurt one another, if we push one another away or we close our hands to one another, then no. It seems to me that in the absence of our acting humanely, then it is as if God does not exist. In this way, we can see that God can be realized or removed by how we behave toward one another and by how we treat and care for the world around us. Remember when you would make an ugly face and your mom or dad would assure you that if you did that for too long, your face might just stay that way? Well, how you and I behave and how we treat one another will also determine if our world will stay the way it looks today. And so it is that when we behave well, we can truly say that we have a hand in creating the conditions for God. And the world desperately needs, we all know this so well, the world desperately needs today people who are thoughtful and sensitive and kind. The world is waiting for us to be the people who we are capable of being. On Rosh Hashanah especially, we are mindful that the world is waiting for us to be the people we were created to be. Because when we act in these good and loving ways, when we reflect the image of God within us, in which we have been created, it is in these ways that we make real the God-like qualities we all have within us. And so it is through our actions, how we behave, that God himself is created. And so to Michael, who asked, how did God create himself? On this first day of a new year, and the first day of the rest of our lives, I say to him and to all of you, we do it. We create, we actualize, we bring God into the world. Each time we extend our hand to one another in friendship. Each and every time we are kind or helpful. Each and every time we stop to listen to a member of our family or to a friend. Each time we respond patiently and sensitively and lovingly, even to those we do not know. Whenever we act in these holy ways, it is as if God is right here with us, within our hands and in our hearts. And so, dear Michael and dear friends, on this Erev Rosh Hashanah, as we gather to celebrate the world's creation, in answer to the question, how did God create himself? We respond in the best way we know how, with a little help from God's friends. Shana Tova. It's my privilege to take just a moment more of your time as I invite you to turn to the small cards, the envelopes with pencils that are at your seats. It is our annual custom, our tradition on the High Holy Days to share a philanthropic appeal. It is not unusual for congregations around the country on the High Holy Days to solicit for money, to do some fundraising, but more often than not, those solicitations are about the congregation itself. At Rodef Shalom, for as far back as we can remember, the High Holy Day appeal has been about collecting funds such that we might be able to be God-like, so that we might extend our hands to others. We have a number of means of offering that support. They are listed on your cards there, and I invite you to give generously. I also want to call your attention to the back of the card this year. We are participating this year for the first time in the Pittsburgh Foundation's program called Pittsburgh Gives. It's a program that takes place for exactly 24 hours, from midnight to 11:59 p.m. on October 3rd, and it allows us, if you make your contribution to the congregation or any other number of worthy nonprofits throughout our city, to have the Pittsburgh Foundation offer matching funds. And so if you are interested in participating in that, which will allow your contribution to go further and will go directly towards where you designate according to this card, I invite you to, in addition to letting us know what your intentions are on the one side of the card, to check the box on the back that will allow us to contact you between now and October 3rd, such that we can participate in this important means by which we will allow our generosity to be matched. In years past, the match has been 20% or 25%, depending upon how much is collected, and so I invite you to give generously. Our development office will then be in touch with you and will provide you the means by which for you to log on to the Pittsburgh Foundation website or to come here on October 3rd. It will help you do that. Or if you like, you can provide your information at a later phone call, then will allow us to provide that information to the foundation. So please, as you make your way through this card, taking a look at these different items, I invite you to help relieve hunger, address scholarship needs, participate in addressing emergency and disaster relief, Israel and world Jewry, an inclusion effort, and our youth education and activities. And we'll take just a moment for you to complete these cards, and then our ushers will come through and collect them for you. In advance for your generosity and your thoughtfulness, selflessness, and altruism, I thank you. There's no Kiddush cup. Our festival Kiddush for Rosh Hashanah is found on the middle of page 15 in our prayer books.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam berech peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bacharanu mikol ורוממנו מכל לשון, וקידשנו במצוותיו. ותיתן לנו אדוני אלוהינו באהבה את יום הזיכרון הזה, יום תרועה מקרא קודש, זכר יציאת מצרים. קיבלנו ואהבת, ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ודברך אמת וקיים לעד. ברוך אתה אדוני מלך על כל הארץ, וקדש ישראל ביום הזיכרון. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
I am. Turning the page, top of 16, we find Aleinu. If you are able, please rise.
עלינו לשבח לדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כדי הרצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגואל עלינו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד ארץ, ומושבי קרוב בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתי זו ושכינתי זו בגבהי מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו מסילתו, כך כתוב בתורתו. וידעת היום לא השבת אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד, אין עוד, אין עוד.
We hope for the day, and we work for the day when your majesty will triumph, when all will join together to mend the world and live according to your ways. For it is written in the Torah, Adonai will rule forever and ever. Please be seated. As we near the conclusion of our service, we pause to remember those who've been taken from our midst, but not our hearts, but those who've been taken from us in these most recent days, as well as those taken from us in the past year, and to those we remember now, the anniversary of whose passing falls at this season, and all those whose memories are a blessing to us. We are especially mindful on this cusp of a new year of those victims of religious terrorism in the past year, including the Israeli tourists killed during the tour bus attack in Bulgaria, the rabbi and French school children murdered during the Jewish school day in Toulouse, France, as well as those members of the Sikh community and all who gave their lives during the attack in Oak Creek, Wisconsin. So many others we think of now whose lives have been a blessing and who were taken from us senselessly, and those whose lives ended at the end of their natural courses. May all their memories be for a blessing. May each of us call to mind those who are dear to us. And if you are able, won't you please stand? That gathered together, standing and joining our voices as one, we recite together the ancient hallowed Kaddish praise. Yitkadal, v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, b'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uv'yomechon, v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kari v'imru, Amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam almei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalei v'yitalal shmei d'kudsha brichu. Leila min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, da'miran bi'alma v'imru, Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'akol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. Osei shalom b'ramav, hu ya'asei shalom aleinu v'akol Yisrael v'imru, Amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn and send comfort speedily to all who are bereaved among us. And together we say, Amen. Please be seated. A few brief announcements, and then we will conclude with the singing of Adon Olam, which is on the final page of our prayer book. We're grateful both to Janet Mostow and Molly May for their music and song this evening, to Don McGahan on the piano. We're grateful to the staff of Rodef Shalom for making so much of this holiday's logistics possible and so smooth. We are grateful as well to our ushers this evening. I do want to invite you on your way out of the building this evening to be mindful of some who may be coming into the building through the Commons area, and so if it is comfortable and convenient, you might choose to exit through the Fifth Avenue doors. I also want to invite you as you make your way through the exits of the building and on your way into the rest of your evening to think to pick up some grocery bags that you might return in coming days, that you will fill, we hope, with non-perishable food items, but we will contribute to the Squirrel Hill Food Pantry. As you might imagine, as in recent years, the shelves are all but depleted, and the numbers of individuals and families, many with children, are greater in number than ever before. So I hope you will participate in that mitzvah most generously. They're also interested in collecting reusable shopping bags, and so that also might be a place where you'll make those contributions. Tomorrow morning, our children's service, our tot service, is at 9 o'clock, and our services continue here in the sanctuary, and our contemporary service in Freehoff Hall, both are at 10 a.m. The sermon I shared this evening, I'll be giving in a more expanded form tomorrow morning in this service, and Rabbi Henry's sermon this evening at 8 o'clock will be offered anew at the 10 o'clock service in Freehoff Hall. If that's confusing, you need only look at your service program, and it lists the names of our sermons this year. I believe that's all, other than to encourage you at the conclusion of our services tomorrow to join all of us, our congregation, together for our congregational reception, which will take place in the Commons area. There are a list of upcoming services throughout the holiday season and a list of study opportunities on Yom Kippur Day. Also, as you make your way through the Commons area throughout the holidays, there are activities to participate in. There's a quilt, which we invite you to take a square and fill out with colored fabric markers and make your part of that quilt complete. Also, there's a new innovative program. It is called Flashbox. It's a video recording system whereby you can record New Year's hopes and greetings, and you'll find that just near the reception desk. Wish all of you a Shana Tova, a good and healthy, prosperous, fruitful, meaningful new year. To all those who have been joining us for streaming as well, Shana Tova. Our concluding song, Adon Olam, page 18 of our service book.
Adon Olam Asher Malach B'Teh HaKol Yitzeni Ma V'Yetz Nasa V'Ches HaKol אזי מלך שמו נקרא, אזי מלך שמו נקרא. ואחרי ככלות על כל למטה ילך נורא, והוא היה והוא הווה, והוא יהיה בתפארה, והוא יהיה בתפארה. והוא אחד ואין שני לעם שלו, להכפירה ולראשית ולתכלית, ולא העוז והמצווה, ולא העוז והמצווה. והוא אלי וחי גואלי, יצור חמי ויהיה צבא, והניסים מנוס לי, ונת כוסים ליום אקרא, ונת כוסים ליום אקרא. ויעדו כרוחי, יהיה תישן ויאימה, ואם רוחי גביעתי, אדוני לי ולא איבה, אדוני לי ולא איבה.
We wish all of you a Shana Tova Mituka, a good and healthy and sweet new year. Shana Tova. Okay.
All right, I'm down.
One down. Very nice tonight. Thank you.
Yeah.
You and Molly did beautifully. That was really special.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that came out really nicely.
Yeah. This one bobble.
Shana Tova, Shana Tova, Shana Tova.
Did you hear my news? My daughter just got engaged.
I did hear that. I heard you thinking Aliyah as well. So Mazel Tov all around.
Wow, I didn't hear that part.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my god. Wow.
Yay.
I looked at the top of the page, it's like, I wrote in 2012, but I didn't do anything after I wrote it. I'm sorry.
I did the old ending. I think that was my bobble, not yours.
That was the old ending. I was reading the new ending in here, so I didn't have a note, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the
But
worst
it was
of
probably
it.
it was probably my mistake.
That's the worst of it. December 11th night is over. Oh my gosh. Just gorgeous. Usually she doesn't have She usually tells me where I am. Oh yeah, she's incredible. It was all black. The coloring is nice. No, we did.
I thought my mind was so
It may have felt loud to you, didn't feel bad to me, but things changed. Thank you. I'll see you around.